Hello guys, good morning. How are you? Welcome to my channel Chemical Diary. Today video I'm going to explain you about the SRU sulfur recovery unit. Although I have covered this unit, but I'm going to give you overview. Then after that I'm going to explain you about the interview questions which are asked in interview for sulfur recovery unit. One of my viewer have asked me to add interview questions in the video. So today I'm going to add. So generally, all the interviews, what they ask is safety, process related, and how you cope up with the scenarios. So these are the general questions. So we will go through the sulfur recovery unit. See, sulfur recovery interview questions are totally different for the field operator, panel operator, or DCS engineer, and it's totally different from the process engineer, production engineer. For sulfur recovery unit, they ask different questions for the supervisors. So different posts, nature of work have different questions, and the easy interview questions are generally asked for the field operator because they do not have that much work of length. So the basically interview for field operator for SIUs very easy compared to other. For example, for process engineer, production engineer, or supervisor, they may ask the interview questions such as mass balance of sulfur recovery unit, chemical balance of sulfur recovery unit, chemical reactions, equations. But for field operator, they do not consider this question. They generally ask safety related. First of all, they wanted to know that whether field operator is familiar with the sulfur recovery unit, and the main thing is that they want people who have experience, and also they want that people must be familiar with the process plant. So first of all, they will ask you explain about the sulfur recovery unit. What is sulfur recovery? Just simply you have to say that sulfur recovery, we recover sulfur from hydrogen sulfide. We have a sour gas which is coming for amine regeneration unit, sour water stripper unit, and wherever the, or simply you can say that sour gases which are generated in petroleum refinery or petroleum plant, petrochemical plant, any plant, the generated H2S is very harmful to the environment. So if we burn, it will be as sulfur dioxide in the air, which is very corrosive and acidic in nature, and it harms the environment. So that is why we have set up this plant to recover sulfur from the hydrogen sulfide. And this sulfur indeed is used for making sulfuric acid, fertilizer grade acid, and for making and use in fertilizer plant. So this is how you can give answer, and you can show that sulfur is sulfur dioxide, which is very dangerous to the environment, and hydrogen sulfide is very dangerous to the people. So we consume this dangerous product and make into useful product. I hope this answer will attract the interviewer who is asking you. So this is about the sulfur recovery unit and why we set up. So I have covered this. So for from my point of view, I hope this answer give best answer to the question. Okay, so we'll proceed further. They will ask main things about sulfur recovering, why, and other related, that they will ask the about the process. So when they ask about the process, just simply say that as I have mentioned in other video, that we get sour gas from sour water stripper, and also we get sour gas from amine regeneration unit. So the hydrogen sulfide, the gas, we preheat and we send it to furnace. After that, in furnace, we maintain air and gas ratio. After that, it turns to liquid sulfur. Then whatever the heat generated in the furnace, it will quench, or we utilize this heat in the waste heat boiler to produce steam. And this steam indeed is used for the maintaining the temperature for the condenser and preheater, and also for maintaining the sulfur in liquid form. So this is how we should explain like this. And after that, we should say that after that, we send the gas to the condenser. In condenser, we recover liquid sulfur. Then again, unconverted gas go to the preheater, and after that it goes to the close reactor. After close reactor, condenser. So the process I have explained you in the last video, so you have to explain and well through that process. And lastly, after that, gas goes to tail gas treating unit. So you have to explain the process. Once you explain the process, so they will be satisfied with your process, how you are explaining. and always try to explain the process, not like a children or flow diagram, like first gas goes to the preheater, then it goes to the reactor, then go to condenser. Not just explain then why we are sending. Like example, I send the gas to the furnace for the catalytic for the reaction, where where H2S is converted to sulfur. After that we send it to waste heat boiler in order to remove the heat, and we utilize this heat to make steam, and this steam is used for so many purpose, you can say like that. And after that the gas, the remaining process gas goes to the condenser where we recover sulfur. So if you explain equipment wise, and you also explain that the nature of work, why we are using this. So you are using condenser to condense the liquid sulfur, and again we are using heater to preheat the temperature. So this will be added advantage to your process flow and the way of your explaining. But I really suggest, don't explain or don't memorize like that. Gas go to, first of all you go to the knockout drum, then go to the solar preheater, then furnace, then waste heat boiler, then condenser, then tail gas heating unit. So I really don't suggest people to give interview like that or explain the process. You should take a single equipment and you should say that why we are using. So it will hold a good point of view or good result in the interviewer mindset, that you know every equipment and what are the usage. So this is how you will explain about the process. So once you are complete with the process, definitely he will ask you about the questions, like questions generally related to sulfur recovery unit, like what you will do if there are any fire chances in sulfur recovery plant, they ask, and what are the temperature you maintain in furnace, and what is the solidification temperature for sulfur, how much temperature we maintain to keep sulfur in melted in liquid form. And other thing, what are the sources of plugging, why plugging take place in sulfur, and what condition, and how you cope up with the sulfur plugging. So these are the things they ask. And other thing I will tell you step by step. So they will ask what is what have you seen any plugging scenario and method. And see, sulfur recovery unit is a big unit. For example, for just let's take our example of field operator. Field operator works in sulfur recovery unit, this is a huge unit. And also they work in sulfur area where storage take place. So in storage, loading, unloading also take place. So for loading, they ask the operator about that, how do you load tanker, how do you load sulfur, by train or by tanker, or by RT tanker, road tanker, what is the how you load, and what is the procedure for loading the tanker. So depending upon the nature of job, like if they wanted to take in tank farm for sulfur, they will ask a question about the loading tanker, pump capacity and maximum capacity, how you load the tanker. These are the thing. And when you come in process, they will ask how you take field run and what you observe. And also they ask about the field related. And generally they ask about this question. But when it come in SRU, so I had told you that they will ask SRU, why SRU plant, and they also ask about the MSDS of sulfur, ammonia, hydrogen sulfide. They don't ask generally for the molecular weight like that, because I told you for field operator they ask, are you familiar with, like in case of sulfur fall on you, what you are going to do, and what are the PPE are you are going to use in this unit, and how you cope up with the hydrogen sulfide leak, and what you do in case of there is a hydrogen sulfide leak. And they also ask about the process flow, and they ask what happen if there is a fire in sulfur pit, how you use. So mostly everyone know that if there is a fire, what we use, either we use water or fire extinguisher. But 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 listen carefully, in sulfur recovery unit we use steam to quench the fire. So I'm repeating again, in sulfur recovery unit we use steam to extinguish the fire. So these are the things. So in sulfur pit, if there is any fire, we are not going to use any carbon dioxide, dry or foam or any kind of water. We are going to use steam to extinguish the fire. So these are the things. Interviewer generally they know that the people who work in sulfur recovery unit or in sulfur area, they know how to extinguish the fire. So they ask such questions related. So these are the questions. And they ask fire in the reactor. In closed reactor there may be chances of fire, so they ask why fire take place. So sulfur is very flammable, and we are using so much temperature in the furnace reactor maintaining, so there may be chances of fire. And when we add air in furnace, so it's for sure that it's very flammable. So what I meant to say that if they ask you the question why fire take place in closed reactor, the answer simple is very simple. Answer is that excess oxygen. So we should maintain accurate amount of air and H2S in the furnace. If you send more oxygen, then what will happen? Surely there will be a fire in the closed reactor. So there are such questions. But the question raises that if we add more air, then fire take place. So if we add less air, then furnace temperature is heat up. So how you maintain the furnace temperature? So the answer is very simple. You will take exact ratio which is designed by process engineer, exact amount of, and even we have controller, process controller, which control flow controller, which control the amount of sulfur, amount of hydrogen sulfide gas, and amount of air. For example, generally we see that in any type of combustion furnace, if temperature rises, we send more amount of air, so the temperature regulates. But in case of sulfur recovery, in case of closed reaction furnace, we do not use more air to reduce the temperature. We use steam to quench the temperature. Steam means in the sense boiler feed water. Okay, LP steam, boiler feed water. So we use condensate. I'm saying that we don't use water, we use steam, LP steam, to condense the to reduce the temperature in furnace. So these questions are really tricky, which are generally caught by the interviewer, and the people who have worked in sulfur recovery unit, they can only answer this question. So these are the questions which are not available in web, but I'm posting this video for for one of my viewer who asked me to post these questions. So they ask the fire in closed reactor reason, and fire in sulfur pit. So I have given a question and answer also. Okay, let's go further. After they ask that how we control the temperature. So answer is surely we control furnace temperature by means of steam. Okay, then how we cope up the plugging, sulfur plugging. See, when the process is normally working, you will there will be no plugging. But in case of shutdown, in case of upsets, what you are going to do? So at that time there will be no steam for, because closed reactor completely shut down. So at that time we have another provision that is called steam heat tracing. Heat tracing will always be helpful for maintaining the line temperature. Okay, and other thing what I wanted to say that you should know, do you know steam jacketed line? See, this is a single line in which sulfur goes, and there is another line in that steam goes. But for example, this is the flange, and they are going to join another line. So they put like this, and for this there will be a jumper, this is called jump over line. So they generally asked about the jump over line. So in that liquid sulfur will go, and from here steam. So sulfur goes inside like this, and from here there will be a utility connection that is called steam. Steam comes in and condensate goes out. So continuous steaming will be done to the line, reactor, wherever the sulfur is going. Continuously we provide steam to this lines. So this is how we maintain the temperature. So we maintain the liquid sulfur, temperature by means of steam. We don't use any kind of heating source. This is one of the cheap source, and steam is generated anyhow in waste heat boiler. So same steam we use for maintaining the temperature in condenser, preheater, heater, and also in sulfur pit. So this is how. Okay, let's go to another question. In case of they ask the plugging, why plugging take place? Plugging take place due to flow, if there is a stop in flow, or generally plugging take place at the bends, and or either high slope lines. So when there is a restriction in flow, obviously there will be plugging. So how you remove the plugging? Plugging we remove by first of all, what we do, we will give steam, and we can remove. So these are the thing. By supplying additional heat, you can remove the plugging. Okay. So this and they ask, how do we charge the catalyst in reactor? This is a big question, and I will explain you in another video about how we add catalyst and how we start a plant, how we commission the plant from cold startup. So there's a bigger question, and I will explain you in another video. Other thing, how do we start the plant? I have covered only the process of self SRU, but I did not cover how we start the plant. In another video, for sure, I will write how we start the plant from cold shutdown or first time we are. Okay. And chemical reaction, these are generally asked to the, just they will ask you what are the reaction, but they don't ask you for mass balance, chemical balance. So these questions are generally discussing only about the field operator. Okay, let's go further. So these questions, I have covered only few questions which they ask. But if you are very familiar with the video which I have uploaded for sulfur recovery unit, I hope they will cover more. And soon I will upload some videos regarding startup, shutdown, and commissioning of sulfur recovery unit. I will cover. So those questions, those videos will be very much helpful for your interview. Okay. So apart from the process, they ask, first they cover the process, they will ask, and once they are satisfied with the process and how you give the answer, then you will go for the next round. That is, they will judge your knowledge about the safety. That first of all they will ask, any type of courses have you taken? So if you have taken any, just mention then. And after that they will ask, any safety related courses you have done. So definitely, if you have done if you have done emergency related training, or emergency response team founder, or else you might have done any firefighting training or confined space training, or or rescue, or even if you know the training for life saving training, that you have taken training to save the people, and you have taken training for the people to save from the hazardous material. So they will ask the, if you have any taken any training, and if you have taken, just provide them answer happily. Okay. After that they will ask you for the any what type of training have you taken for the industry. For example, for safety training, like, for sure, for any field operator, panel operator, or any supervisor or any engineer, this question and this knowledge is very must. That is permit training. They will ask, what is permit, and what are the types of permit, and they will ask, cold permit, hot permit, confined space permit, and what is lotto, and what is equipment isolation, and what else, energy isolation. So why we use and how do we isolate, and how sure are you that you have isolated the equipment from energy, mechanical means or chemical means or electrical means, how we isolate. So what are the procedure, they ask. These are the questions. I'm not saying this all the question will be asked to the one person. These are the question they will ask depending upon the way you answer. For example, if they are satisfied with your starting 2 3 questions, they will judge your knowledge, and they are not going to ask silly questions. So they will ask question depending upon your maturity level of answering. These are the things which are covered by the people. Okay, fine, let's go further. So in safety point of view, they give you even scenario also. I will give you one scenario, and you must answer me. I'm not going to answer you this question. You can answer me in comments. So the question is, if there is a hydrogen sulfide gas leak, what you are going to do? What is your nature of work, and what you are going to do, what you will do? For example, when you are going in field and you find there is a hydrogen sulfide leak, so what is your role? So this is my question to you, and this is a question for the interviewer, the people they ask. So answer me in the comments. I will be happy if people are watching. If you are interested, I hope you will answer this, and I will answer you in comments if you give the reply. Fine. So what you are going to do if there is a hydrogen leak, hydrogen sulfide leak. Okay, so these are the scenario. Even they ask scenario, what if there is a fire in sulfur pit, what's your action? If there is a fire there, what your action? If there is a gas leak, what is your action? So as a field operator they ask this question. Even they also ask, when you go for field run, what you check and how you know that your plant is running smoothly. So these are the questions they ask. And they also ask what are the roles and responsibility of a field operator, and what do you do in field round, and these are the things. And potential release of contaminated gases. And they also ask what is incinerator, why we use incinerator, and why we use these kind of reactors. And they also ask how do you take sampling. Yeah, this is the main question which I have forget, although I have covered this. They ask you about the sampling. What are the different types of sampling, how you take sampling for hazardous and non-hazardous, and what are the precaution you are going to use. These are the thing. And also they ask you about the ppe, personal protective equipment. What are the ppe you use in sulfur recovery unit, and different kinds of ppe. So as a field operator they ask this general question which are very easier for anyone to. As long as you have a knowledge of sulfur recovery unit, it's easy to have the interview and pass. But for panel operator or DCS operator who is going to use or handle DCS, they will ask question related to like control walls and interlocks, and related to the interlocks related to the SRU. For example, if there is a high temperature furnace, what will happen? And if there is a low oxygen content, what will happen? So which control will take place, and which control will trigger the alarm? What are the alarms? So how you cope up with that? So these are thing questions about asked in the panel. But this video I'm generally covering about the only field operator. And they also ask about the what are the reaction, like simply H2S plus air becomes sulfur and water. So this is how they ask. So these are the questions they ask, and safety point of view. And soon I will cover one video which is related to startup commissioning of sulfur recovery unit. So this video will also very much helpful to gain the knowledge, and also to cope up with the interview, and will be helpful to pass in interview. Because I have covered only for how sulfur recovery unit take place, but I have not covered startup shutdown. So soon I will cover in another video. Keep watching my video and subscribe to my channel. And if you have any doubts, please put it in comment. If I can, I will answer you definitely. Thank you.